Here.
I'd like to call a meeting of the Board of Zoning Appeals to order on this Monday, October the 19th. Mrs. Kukla, read the preamble, and then you can call the roll call.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First slide, please, Drew. My name is Liz Kukla. I'm the Secretary of the Board of Zoning Appeals, and I'm going to read the preamble this morning. In compliance with notification requirements of Ohio's open meeting law under COVID-19 emergency declaration, notice of this meeting has been publicly posted. All boards and commissions under the purview of the City Planning Department conducts its meeting according to Robert's Rules of Order. Actions during the meeting will be taken by voice vote. Abstentions from any vote due to a conflict of interest should be stated for the record prior to taking of any vote. In order to ensure that everyone participating in the meeting have the opportunity to be heard, we ask that you use the raise hand feature before asking a question or making a comment. The raise hand feature can be found in the participants panel on the desktop and mobile version and activated by clicking on the hand icon. Please wait for the chair or facilitator to recognize you, and be sure to select unmute and announce yourself before you speak. When finished speaking, please lower your hand by clicking on the raise hand icon again and mute your microphone. We will also be utilizing the chat feature to communicate with participants. The chat feature can be activated by clicking the chat button located on the bottom of the WebEx screen. Next slide, please. All meeting activity is being recorded via the WebEx platform. These proceedings are also being live streamed via YouTube for public view. We have provided a link to the meeting for those who wish to speak on a particular case via our website and email. We have also received emails from those who have provided written comments on a particular matter. Next slide, Drew. And I'll call the meeting to order, or sorry, call the roll. Mr. Donovan.
Here.
Ms. Faith?
Present.
Merlene Barnes will be absent this morning. Mrs. Johnson?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have a quorum.
Okay,
We have 3 people.
and we have 3 people, right? The postponements and withdrawals, is he going to put those up on the screen?
Yes.
Okay,
So, Madam Chair, as is stated on the screen here, calendar number 20-148 regarding 927 East 123rd Street. Paul McPherson is the owner in this case. He proposes to add a carry-out restaurant. The city has requested a postponement because there's a land bank parcel involved that the appellant has not applied for. Is Mr. McPherson on the line? Or anyone, or any architect or anyone representing him?
no, doesn't look like.
Madam Chair, we did notify them via email last week that there was a request for postponement. And so we need to give them time enough to apply for the land bank lot. So I believe that December 14th would work for that.
Okay, without objection, board?
Without it.
Without objection.
Without
Okay,
objection.
and without objection, okay.
Next slide, Mr. Sarabian. Okay, and this is calendar 20-149 regarding 3540 West 117th Street. Neil Cleveland Auto Nation is the owner. He's proposing to establish a gas station. We postponed this last week to November 23rd at the request of the councilman so they can hold a public meeting. We're just making that announcement again right now to let neighbors know that we are not going to be hearing the case this morning.
Okay, and
We have a date.
we have another one, okay.
That was November 23rd, Mr. Donovan.
Without
And then
objection.
calendar number, thank you. Calendar number 20-154 at 10011 Clifton Boulevard. Big House Development is proposing to erect a 3-story 4-dwelling unit. The councilman is requesting a little bit more time to allow time for further review and clarification of one of the code sections. We can do November 2nd for this one, Madam Chair. That would be 2 weeks.
Okay, without objection, board?
Without objection.
And without objection, okay. So,
And then we have one withdrawal, Madam Chair.
yes,
Calendar 20-114 regarding 3716 Bailey Avenue, Cleveland Bricks proposes to erect a two-story frame garage with a second floor master bedroom. The Cleveland Bricks has withdrawn the case as they are going to comply with the code.
without objection, board?
Without objection.
Without objection.
Okay, okay. All right. He put up the first case. Okay,
Cases.
okay, go ahead, Miss Faith. Good to have you back.
Thank you. I'm feeling better. Thank you.
Good.
We have 3 cases that all related to the same owners. Case number 20-141 at 2117 West 18th Street. Calendar 20-142 at 1711 Bradford. And calendar number 20-143 at 2123 West 18th Street. Leonard and Patricia Wysander, owners, proposes to, on calendar number 20-142, they propose to erect a 24-foot by 65-foot, one-story a 24-foot by 65-foot, one-story frame single-family residence with attached garage in a D1 two-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record. On calendar number 20-143, Leonard and Patricia Wysander, owner, proposes to erect a 25-foot by 40-foot, three-story single-frame residence with attached garage in a D1 two-family residential district. And at 1711 Bradford, that's calendar number 20-142, they propose to erect a 24-foot by 65-foot, one-story single-frame residence in a D1 two-family residential district. Thank you, Madam Chair. I believe that's everything.
Okay. Tim?
Waiting for the.
Okay.
Everyone for this case, kindly raise your right hand. I'm going to swear you in at the end of my presentation. I'm looking for the response of I do with your name. Ready? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Name?
Michael Horton.
Anyone else?
I do. Khalid Hawthorne.
Anyone else? Hearing that, we move forward.
Thank you. Thank you very much. History of the
Next slide. Thank you.
history of the property.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The properties were originally zoned semi-industry at the enactment of the code in 1929. In 1949, it was changed to a two-family residential district. In the records room for the address of 2117 and 2123 West 18th Street, we found that single...
Oh, somebody's got to mute their phone for the. Go ahead.
Thank
Mrs.
you. We found that in 1909, a permit was issued for 2117 to repair a dwelling. And then in 1983, a permit was issued to demolish a single family house. And that was again at 2117 West 18th Street. For 2123 West 18th Street, I found that in 1888, a permit was issued to add a bedroom, I believe, to a dwelling unit. And then in 2015, a permit was issued, a lot split was issued for this particular address. And then, Madam Chair, calendar 20-142 for 1711 Bradford Avenue. And I didn't find any records in the permit for this, record room for this address, I'm sorry. And I did find that there's one variance in calendar 64-730. A variance was refused to establish a dog kennel at this site. There are no variances on the other two addresses and nothing of note other than that lot split in the Acela system.
Thank you very much. The legal standard will be, thank you, Ms. Wagner.
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting area variances from the minimum lot width, minimum lot area, rear yard distance, and side yard encroachment regulations of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you very much. Does this apply then to all three cases, Ms. Wagner?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Thank you very much.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
before we move forward, we had failed to instruct the applicants that by having only 3 board members, that they will have to have a unanimous decision in order to receive the variances under request. And I don't know who should have done it. Could have been you, could have been me, could have been Lori, but we haven't done it. And I think it needs to get done.
thank you, Mr. Donovan. But you know what? I didn't do that last week either.
I know that's the first time we didn't do it in a long time.
Okay, thank you very much. Michael Horton, are you going to be the spokesperson for all 3 properties?
That is correct.
Okay, do you have a letter from the owners?
I do have a letter from the owners. I sent that to Liz this morning. They were going to be able to attend, but we were notified at the last minute that they weren't. So I sent the signed consent form in. So Liz, that should be in your inbox.
Okay, thanks very much. All right, go ahead.
Okay. This is Michael Horton with Horton Harper Architects, representing the 3 projects currently mentioned. We are proposing 3 new single-family dwellings on these sites through a lot split. What we're looking at here is the existing house that Pat and Leonard Weisander currently live in. They are longtime residents of the Duck Island neighborhood. And this development that we're working with the Weisanders, as well as builder and developer Matt Burgess, as well as the neighborhood, this is an effort to keep them in the neighborhood. They currently live here, but they're looking for a home that can accommodate their needs for aging in place. And one of the projects that we'll be talking about today is their future residence. And that home will have just 1 floor, which will have, living room, bedroom, bathroom, bedrooms all on a single floor to accommodate a wheelchair. Okay, good. So this is an aerial view of the site. You can see their current residents sitting in the middle of the parcel. What we are proposing is that this single-family house will be raised, and they will live in a new single-family residence that is 1 story that will be facing Bradford Avenue. And through splitting of these parcels, there will be 2 new single-family residences that will face West 18th Street. You can go to the next slide. Next slide. This is just another view. We can go to the next slide. Okay, so here is the new configuration for the 3 homes. North is to the left. The home at the top, which is labeled Pat and Len's house, that is the Weisanders' future residence. And the two new single-family houses that are in the darker shade will be facing West 18th Street. Those are the two new residences. All three residences will be accessed with one curb cut off of Bradford Avenue. And the two houses facing West 18th Street will be 3-story dwellings. We did present this to the neighborhood, and there was a request to provide a little bit more green space in between the homes on West 18th Street. So you can see on the right, there's the West 18th Street townhomes. Originally, we were 5 feet off the property line, which we still are. So we were able to shift the houses on West 18th Street without modifying any of the variances. Other than that, there were no other concerns that weren't able to be addressed later. We can go to the next slide. So this is a view from Bradford Avenue, looking at the 3 new homes. You can see the single-story house, which will be the Wysanders' future residence, in the foreground, and in the background, the 2 new single-family homes that are facing West 18th Street. We wanted to be contextual with the neighborhood, as well as be contextual with this single-family single-story residence. So we have gabled roofs on the houses that are facing West 18th Street to help bring down the roof line. Next. And then here's another view at the corner of West 18th and Bradford, showing how all 3 of these new single-family houses fit within the block. Next slide. And you can see here's the view from West 18th Street. Again, we're bringing down the roof line or the gutter line. And so we'll have vaulted ceilings on that 3rd floor. This again helps to bring down the scale of the 2 houses on West 18th Street. We also have rooftop decks on the 2 homes on West 18th Street. So we're pushing sort of the taller 3-story portions toward the back, and then bringing down the roof line on those, we'll call it the stair core, as much as we can to preserve views to the downtown from the residences next door. And these are just some additional drawings showing how that kind of works. We're at 33 feet 11 and a half inches for the top of the roof at the front of the stair tower, and the parapet of the adjacent townhomes are at about 34 feet, therefore preserving as much of the neighbor's view as possible. Next slide.
Michael, this is Carol. What is the square footage of each of those houses? Not the single family, the 2.
I believe they're approximately 2,400 square feet.
Oh, they look huge. That's okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And these are all just additional technical drawings that were submitted. But
Talk to me
overall,
about
that's the big idea.
Talk to me about the air conditioning unit.
So we've got air conditioning units for all 3. They will be in the side yards. The air conditioner units for the 2 that face West 18th Street are positioned to be, in proximity to the garages and in close proximity to where we have the stairs to minimize any noise to any of the actual usable spaces. And then the air conditioner unit in the side yard for 1711 Bradford is also in the far back behind the garage. And there have been conversations with the neighbor to screen that if necessary in an effort to minimize any sound issues.
Do we have any support letters from block clubs, local development corporation?
Madam Chair, I did not receive any, but Mr. Hawthorne is here from the Development Corporation.
Oh, okay, good. Let's hear from Khalid.
Thanks, everyone. So we did. There's no support letter from the block club, but they did meet to discuss support letters, and so we do have support from Tremont West Economic Development Committee, and with the work that Michael and the builder have done with the community, sitting down with them, we're satisfied with all the potential concerns being addressed. So, like I said, Tremont West supports the project. Time neighbor, and this will help meet their needs now and in the future, and also, as far as the accommodations that were made, as far as the side yards and things of that nature, those are well above the threshold of many other developments in Tremont, and the variances are pretty much standard. So we support this project.
Thank you very much. Is Shannon going to represent the city of Cleveland, Liz?
Yes.
Okay, let's hear from Shannon.
Shannon Leonard, City Planning. So for each of these are pretty typical variances with the minimum area. In the rear yard, they're only proposing a 1 foot. They're only off by 1 foot. So City Planning supports each of these projects, as well as I believe they received HDRS approval.
Thank you very much, Shannon. Good to see you.
You too.
Any other questions, board? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion. Given the testimony of the architect for the project and the support from the block club via the statement from Tremont West Development and the support of city planning, I think it's encouraging to see also that we have some residences coming into the area that have universal design and aging in place as part of their focus. I move that we support and approve the variances for case number 2141, 2142, and 2143.
I'll second that. Call the roll.
Mr. Donovan,
Yes.
Ms. Faith,
Yes.
Mrs. Johnson.
Yes.
Calendars 20-141, 2142, and 2143 are granted, and it will be ratified next week, and we will send you a letter.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Okay. Yes?
given that during the testimony, the representative of Tremont West said something that caught me here, that they are moving away from support letters from block clubs. Is this a restructuring of some sort in terms of policy and how the neighborhood group is going to deal with projects as we move forward? Should we not expect letters of support? Tell me what that means besides what I can invent it to mean.
Is Khalid still with us?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Khalid, maybe you could address that issue.
Okay. Thanks for that question, Tim. And this is just for Duck Island Block Club. It's something they've been going back and forth on. But basically right now they are, if somebody has an issue with the project, they are pushing that to our Economic Development Committee, and then have those people come to our Economic Development Committee to address those concerns. And like I said, we do have a letter of support for this project from our Economic Development Committee. And also, so if, like I said, if somebody has additional issues, they can bring those directly to BZA, and that's just for Duck Island. They've been trying to clean up some of their meetings a little bit, I guess, as far as procedure and things of that nature.
Okay. Thank
Okay,
you.
Yeah.
thanks, Colleen. Appreciate it. Okay. Calendar 20-147 at 4680 Lee Road. Ms. Faith?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Calendar 20-147 at 4680 Lee Road. Dolores Walker, owner, proposes to change the use from beauty salon to restaurant in a two-family residential zoned district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record.
Thank you very much. Tim?
Everyone for this case, please raise your right hand. I'll make a statement. Your response is I do with your name. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? For anyone for this case on Lee Road, please. Lee Road going once. Lee
Twice.
Road going twice. No response. We shall put it at the back of the line for the time being. Next.
No, Dolores Walker is not present. Is that my understanding?
No one seems to be answering the question.
I guess that's right. The legal standard, Ms. Wagner?
There's nobody here for the case.
Oh, whoa.
Therefore, we have to go to the next case to see if they will arrive before we're done with the meeting.
The gentleman that's representing Maurice, I'm sorry, I don't see your name, so I don't know what to call you. There is nobody here for that case. Is that our understanding?
Yeah, it looks like there's no call-in users either that
Okay,
could
okay,
possibly
thank
be
you.
there.
Okay. All right, moving right along, Ms. Faith, let's do Westview Avenue, 20-150.
Great. Thank you, Madam Chair. Calendar 20-150 at 16401 Westview Avenue. Elton Cooper, owner, proposes to erect a 20-foot by 30-foot two-story frame detached gable garage with a second floor loft area in an A1 one-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record.
Is there anyone here for this case?
Yes.
Madam Chair, this is the one that was postponed.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm going to read a statement. I want you to raise your right hand. At the end of it, the response would be I do with your name. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Your name?
Ibrahim Haki, architect.
Okay. Anyone else?
Yes.
Your name?
Elton Cooper.
Okay. Anyone else?
Okay.
Move forward.
Okay, history of the property, please, Mrs. Kukla.
Madam Chair, are we on this calendar 20-148? 927 East 123rd Street? That case was postponed at the beginning of the hearing.
No, we're on the Westview, 20-150.
Okay, thank you.
My apologies, I didn't skip that one in the presentation.
Okay, there's been no change in the zoning since 1929. I did a record on this property in the records room, and there are no variances on file. And I found only in 2004 that vinyl siding was applied to the property and downspouts. And that's all that I have, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. The legal standard will be judging the case on, please, Ms. Wagner.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Appellant is requesting area variances from the accessory building maximum floor area and maximum height requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, the appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you very much. Mr. Cooper, tell us
Yes.
exactly what you'd like to do.
Where, as you can see from the picture, the house is built on a slab foundation. I have no basement. So there's no storage space. The previous owners of the house took a 20 by 20 garage and added a 10-foot room on the back of the garage for storage. My family and I have been there for over 15 years, and in over 15 years, you accumulate things. My kids are older. My kids accumulate things. So our neighbor to the northeast has a 2-story garage, and I say, hey, why don't we build a loft area for storage? So that's what idea came about, to have the existing garage, which is now 20 by 30, just make it a 20 by 30 with a loft for storage only. No livable space or anything like that.
So there's no heat in there. It's just the lights when you put stuff away.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'd like to see. Okay, there we go. That's what I wanted to see. Okay.
The architect updated the plans to show that we're under the 15-foot threshold, but we still have the issue with the square footage.
We literally designed this structure so that it would meet the 15-foot. We set the pitch of the roof and the elevation of the loft space to manage the height restriction. Unfortunately, I did not put that dimension on the drawing. We've updated the drawings to include that dimension at this point. In terms of the floor area, because it's a loft space, it's kind of hard to say it's actually 1,200 square foot. Clearly under the eaves, you can't really get into that area.
And I didn't hear your name. I'm sorry. I apologize.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Your name?
Oh, I'm Ibrahim Haki. I'm the architect.
The architect. Okay, great.
Yes, thank you.
Appreciate it. Board questions?
I think you posed the question, Madam Chair, is if the lot was going to be for storage, and I think we're satisfied that there's going to be no living area, no plumbing, no heating. So I think it's pretty straightforward. I move that we go ahead and approve this variance.
Second.
Call the roll.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Mrs. Faye?
Yes.
Mrs. Johnson?
Yes.
Calendar 20-150 is granted. It'll be ratified next week, and we will send you a letter.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, calendar 20-152 at 1220 West 67th Street. Nathan Janowitz, are you here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. Go ahead, Ms.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Madam Chair. Calendar number 20-152 at 1220 West 67th Street. Nathan P. Janowitz, owner, proposes to erect a 2-story frame dining area with open screen porch on first floor of existing single-family residence with 2-bay attached garage foundation area in a B1 2-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record.
Thank you very much. Tim? Timothy?
Sorry about that. My directions here are 180. Anyway, would everyone for this case raise your right hand? Repeat. I ask for the response I do at the end of my statement with your name. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do. Nathan Janowitz.
I do. Tyler Rice.
I do. Matt Zone.
Anyone else? We are moving forward.
Okay, thank you very much. History of the property, please, Mrs. Kukla.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. I found no records in the record room for this address. There are no variances on file, and in the Acela system, I found that in November of 2019, a certificate of disclosure was issued stating that the authorized use of the property is single family, and that's all that I have.
Thank you very much. Your legal standard will be judging the case on, Ms. Wagner.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Appellant is requesting area variances from the garage screening, side yard, porch projection, retaining wall, and landscaping requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Mr. Janowitz. Tell us exactly what you'd like to do.
Good morning, everybody. So the project scope includes remodeling the existing 1.5-story Cape Cod, adding some additional square footage on the second story, and then demolishing the existing garage and adding a new tandem 2-car garage to the south side of the home at the existing basement level.
Also sworn in on this.
Screenshots.
Yes, okay. Do we have a plan that shows that?
Yeah. Okay, so this is just like a little PowerPoint I threw together to kind of give an idea of the scope of the project. Go ahead, next slide. So primary project goals were to add some square footage and usable space. This will be a home for myself. I wanted to maintain as much green space as possible, modify the existing garage by removing that and adding a attached garage, and then to maintain and reuse as much existing structure as possible. We wanted to rectify the existing encroachment onto the south property, maintain and maximize views, increase curb appeal, and minimize environmental impact in remodeling the property. So these are the zoning violations that we're addressing: attached garage, side setbacks, screen porch on the first level, and then a couple additional retaining wall and tree issues. Next slide. So the attached garage seems to be the major setback. So in adding the tandem 2-car garage to the south side of the home, we're correcting a 6-inch encroachment of the existing garage onto the property to the south, minimizing excavation and use of retaining walls, which we would have to use pretty heavily to extend a driveway from basement level up to the first level of the home in the backyard, should we build a garage back there as an alternative. That really is cost prohibitive. It's not really an option for me. I want to try and maximize the green space by keeping as much of the front and rear yards as possible, minimize stormwater runoff and stream impairment by trying to keep the property void of full concrete. And the plan for the garage will be to try and minimize its visual impact from the street. The second story actually overhangs that one bay garage by about 4 feet, and then you can see some examples of photos there that we will use an aesthetic door. It won't be just a typical aluminum panel garage door. Next slide. These are just some examples of homes within the block that all have attached front-facing garages. As you can see, most of them are just your typical aluminum big box garage. We're proposing something a little bit more aesthetic. Next slide. So this is kind of an overview. That red box is the existing 1-car garage that encroaches the neighbor's property by 6 inches. By adding the attached garage to the basement level, we're essentially removing that encroachment, bringing the structure into almost acceptable side setbacks. And then you can see here the existing setback on the north side is almost 2 feet. Our proposed is almost 4 feet on the south side, which would bring us to that almost 6-foot mark for combined side setbacks. Next slide. The screen porch, the rule is that you can't have a screen porch projecting more than 4 feet in front of the home. As you can see here, we could modify this easily. I could bring the screen back portion up to meet the front of the home so that the screen porch wasn't extending beyond. Alternatively, we could bring that porch into the 4-foot mark. However, there's a separate zoning code that dictates that a front porch must be at least 5 feet extended from the front of the home. So I feel like this would be the better alternative. Next slide. And then these are a couple others. They didn't really make sense. The code referred to was actually a fence code, and in the verbiage it was a retaining wall concern, so I wasn't sure about that one. And then same with the other one, the verbiage was about trees, and again it was a fence code.
Baby Yoda.
Okay.
And these are the elevations.
Okay. The picture in the top left corner shows a 1-car garage. That's facing the street. Is that my understanding?
Correct.
Okay, then the lower right-hand corner, it's a 2-car garage.
So those are actually not garage doors. It's just the material selection that we chose, but that's actually just a siding material.
I got you. Thank you. That was my confusion. Board, any questions? Alana? You look quizzical.
Yes. I always like to ask a question or two, right?
That's right.
To the appellant, can you just tell me about the garage door you've specified? Is it translucent? Are you using clear? It looks to be like a more of a contemporary kind of look to it as opposed to solid panel. Is that right?
Yeah, so the plan is to do, it's aluminum, dark aluminum framed with a frosted glass, but I'm amenable to, alternatives should you feel that is not acceptable.
I have no problem with what you're specifying. I've seen that in application in other custom homes, and it adds actually some security to the garage because you can see, while it's translucent, you can still see figures or any activity that might be going on in the garage. So I think that might be an asset for you, actually. Do you want to go back to that front porch distance for us?
Sure. So as you can see on that picture in the lower right there, so that the existing extension beyond the front of the existing home is about 6 feet. The original design, I also attached a PDF of the design. I'm not sure if that's in here or not, but the original design, this whole kind of lined portion was screened in, and then the zoning code dictates that the screen porch portion shall not extend beyond 4 feet in front of the home. So a solution was to just kind of carry that, the screen-in portion just across to be adjacent with the front of the home, and then keep that entire front portion open.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, I feel like that makes sense. Okay, back to you, Madam Chair. I think probably you want to hear from City Planning.
Yes, I do. Shannon?
Yes, City Planning, Shannon Leonard. So City Planning appreciates them trying to improve this property. However, they're going to demolish the garage. We would ask that it be put in the rear of the property. The property immediately to the north, we had required that property owner also to place their garage in the rear. Drew, if you could go back to the context pictures that the applicant had put in their PowerPoint. And so, as you can remember, the garage, requiring the garage to go in the rear, the reason for this was to not have a wall of garages along our streets. This property is right near Edgewater Park, and we would like our streets to be pedestrian friendly. And if you have a wall of garages, that defeats the purpose. So we're asking that they put the garage in the rear, especially since they're demolishing the old one. This is a perfect opportunity to get into compliance with the zoning code.
Thank you. What is the neighbor next door think? Is it somebody in that home, and then you can go and tell them they got to move their garage?
No, the property, there was a new build north of this property that the HTRS required them to put the garage in the rear when they did their construction.
Okay.
Not too long ago.
Okay.
Madam Chair, this is Councilman Zone. I can speak to all these nuanced questions that the board is asking and Ms. Leonard is attempting to respond to.
Go right ahead, Council.
Thank you. I'd ask who's ever controlling the PowerPoint go to an aerial view, please. It's probably one of the first. That's fine. You can stop. No, go back to the one. That's fine. Right there, perfect. Thank you. Sorry about that. So what Ms. Leonard was describing, if you look at the lower left-hand image, you can see the Cape Cod home right there with the garage protruding out. This homestead was owned by the Pahorns family for probably 80 years. They decided to parcel off the two individual properties and sell them independently. The one just still looking at the bottom left-hand photo, you'll see the grass area just to the right of the house. That is the case that Ms. Leonard was speaking about. We worked with the applicants, actually was in front of the, scheduled in front of BZA about a month and a half ago. And I continued the matter because they were constructing a new constructed home. They had the home pushed all the way up to the front with the front end loaded garage. There was no stacking area. And so I asked to delay the matter so I could work with the developer and the local CDC to yield the best outcome. We were able to work with the architect, Cleveland Custom Homes, the builder, and get a rear end loaded garage. This one that that Mr. Janowitz is pursuing, it's a little different in the sense that, and I agree with Ms. Leonard, and I take every attempt to hide front end loaded garages. The topography of this parcel is quite challenging. The hillside is very steep. The house sits up probably, I'm guesstimating, maybe 7 to 8 feet from the sidewalk to actually where the house is sitting. And as you go up to the back of the parcel, the slope even gets more dramatic. So to push the garage all the way to the rear of the lot, which ultimately would be my preference, would potentially be cost prohibitive. This is going to be a 2-car stacked single garage, so you're going to be able to fit 2 car lengths in there. And the roof of that structure now will become the base that Mr. Janowitz is going to be able to have his deck on top of, and then some additional square footage that will be yielded from the house. Adam Davenport, unfortunately, is out of town and couldn't be here. He's the neighborhood planner. He is supportive of this, as is the local CDC and myself. It was our request to get a decorative garage door, knowing that it would be viewable from the street. But this garage is going to be this garage door is going to be significantly further back than all of the illustrations that were shown on that image. And in fact, if you look at this picture we're looking at right now to the far right corner, you'll see a garage right there that's front end loaded. Mr. Janowitz is attempting to do the same thing. That's a 2-car garage. Even though it only fits 1 car, you stack them in, it's 26 feet long. Mr. Janowitz is attempting to do the same thing there, and he's going to push his garage back as far as possible Again, it will be flush. The overhang will be flush with the front porch, but then the garage door is going to be, I think, 4 to 5 feet back of the house, and to kind of mask the appearance of the garage door. If you can go advance the photos to the rendering of the site plan of the front elevation, please. As you can see, the top left-hand corner is the front elevation. You do see the garage door, but it's about 4 feet back. The porch, because it doesn't have a porch right now, is going to create nice eyes on the street. And it's just a challenging, this is one of the old Cape Cod houses, the worker cottages that were built along our lakefront over 100 years ago. And I appreciate the fact that the dentist is coming in, not wanting to just demolish it and build a new McMansion, that he's trying to repurpose what is already there. And I'm supportive of this request.
Thank you, Councilman.
Thanks, Matt.
Anybody else who's been sworn in? No? Any comments from my board?
Madam Chair, this is
Yes.
Liz. So the question to the appellant then is he saying that his plans meet the zoning code regarding the fencing in the front yard? Are you proposing fencing? We did see that it looked like there was going to be a row of shrubs. So that code section that you stated was not relative, may be relative in that you're proposing a row of shrubs in the front of the property, and we need to know that it's going to meet the code regarding height. And also the section that you said you weren't sure about was the retaining wall. We do see that there is a retaining wall there, and therefore, could you confirm that it is 2.5 feet tall per code?
Yes, so the tree code, the reason that there was confusion is because that code referenced about the tree actually, the verbiage of the reference code is about fences. So I just wanted clarification there. We're amenable to any landscape, whatever trees or landscaping that we need to use to meet code is fine. Just the confusion was that the code reference did not meet the verbiage. And then the retaining wall, there's an existing retaining wall south of the garage. I would have to double check, but I believe in front of the garage or street side to the garage, it is less than 2.5 feet. And we would, try and maintain that height back to the garage. There would be some retainment to that side just because that home to the south sits so close to the property line.
Any other comments, board?
Madam Chair, I don't know if you noticed that Mr. Riccardi typed into the chat that 358.02, for the purposes of that chapter, a fence is described as an artificially constructed barrier of any material or materials erected to enclose a screen, close a screen or decorate areas of land. Fences include walls, conifer trees, hedges, and earth berms, meeting this definition. So again, if the appellant is showing a row of hedges in the front yard, it should be noted that he is or is not requesting a variance from that section of the code, which states that that hedge shall not exceed 4 feet and shall be 50% open.
I can do that.
Madam Chair, this is Councilman Zone. If I could, I just want to explain to Mr. Janowitz. The purpose of this is to have opacity. It makes structures safer. It keeps streets safer when people can see and have eyes on the street. What this code is attempting to do is prevent any applicant from building a major wall or barrier that would not see through there. So if you could give some testimony as to your willingness to comply with this section.
Yeah, absolutely. The landscaping was really more of just kind of a final touch to the plan. I'm amenable to whatever landscaping needs to go in front to comply with code. There is an existing fence on the property. You can see from the pictures that I'm going to try to maintain that, try and salvage that. The curb cut has to be modified a bit, so I'm going to do the best I can to maintain it. But yeah, whatever landscaping has to be done to comply with code I'm amenable to.
So, Madam Chair, this is Liz again. It seems as though the appellant is not requesting a postponement. A variance for items number 4 and items number 5, and also item number 6, because it seems as though they've been reviewed and approved by City Planning Commission.
Okie dokie. If there are no other questions, I will entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion.
Okay.
Since we've clarified item number 4, 5, and 6 of the variances, and the appellant has stated his willingness to be within compliance for both the hedge and the retaining wall, those are become non-issues. We'd like to thank Councilman Zone for his explanation and also clarifying issues with the appellant. I think that is helpful when we have our residents clear on everything that we're trying to accomplish. With that in mind and reviewing the plans and understanding that this is a stacked garage, so meaning one car in front of the other, so it's a single garage door rather than a double wide. And with the understanding that it's going to be set back from the front of the house, I move that we go ahead and approve calendar number 20-152.
Second.
Okay, I also want to comment that 2 of your neighbors have sent a letter of support. They're at 1216 West 67th, Tim Brown and Andrew Okonkey. So they have no objections. Okay, call the roll.
Madam Chair, before I do that, Shannon Leonard from City Planning has pointed out something that I overlooked, that the code section regarding the retaining wall does require that the retaining wall be 75% open. It seems that the appellant will not be able to meet that, so item number 4 is going to be needed still.
Okay.
Okay.
I second the amended.
Okay, ready.
I will second an amended motion.
Okay. Then call the roll.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Ms. Bates?
Yes.
Mrs. Johnson?
Yes.
Calendar 20-152 is granted conditionally. It'll be ratified next week, and we will send you a letter.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to go back to calendar 20-147. 4680 Lee Road. Have we heard from Dolores Walker?
We did hear from her architect, Daryl Mapson. He said that he should be able to log in around 10:30. Is he here now? I don't see him.
Yes, I am. I'm on a call-in. Hello?
Oh, great.
Okay.
Hello? Yes, I'm on a call-in.
Okay, let's swear you in. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give, either swear or affirm, that that testimony is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay. Please state your name.
My name is Daryl Mapson from Tribe Architects.
Okay.
Is there anyone else for this case? Hearing none, we move forward.
Okay, tell us exactly what Dolores would like to do.
History of the property.
Oh, never mind. I forgot. Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This property was originally zoned general retail, and in 1951, it was placed in the current 2-family district. I found that, only found in the records room that in 1962, a permit was issued to install a Pepsi Cola sign projecting from the front of a 1-story brick delicatessen. There is one variance on file in calendar 92-244, and this would be in 1992 a variance was granted to change use from a delicatessen to a beauty salon and a boutique. And that's all that I have, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. The legal standard, Ms. Wagner.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Appellant is requesting a use variance. To obtain the use variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will result in an unnecessary hardship particular to the property, such that there will be no economically feasible use of the property without the variance, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and the granting the variance not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you very much. Mr. Architect, please tell us what you'd like to do.
Okay, it's an existing one-story masonry building, and the owner would like to put a carry-out restaurant in the building, and that would involve some interior renovations with a new kitchen. She also has future plans for an exterior patio, and there will be a new parking lot in the rear and trash enclosure. That is her plans. Also, she has, in the meantime, purchased the adjacent vacant property too. Just to keep you posted.
That's the property to the left of the building?
Correct.
Okay. Well, it's really not allowed in a two-family residential area. It's going to disrupt that house next door.
Well, it's been a commercial building for probably since the building was actually built, and it is on a commercial heavy street, Lee Road.
Shannon Leonard, City of Cleveland Planning.
Yeah, Madam Chair, City Planning, Shannon Leonard. Drew, can you go to the site plan that they're proposing here? Okay, as you can see, this is a commercial structure. It was a deli prior, then it became a beauty shop, and then it's been vacant for quite some time. The applicant is proposing to put a deli or carry-out restaurant here. And as the architect stated, Lee Road is a very hodgepodge. You have residential, you have commercial. At this location, to be able to actually use this structure and take it out of its vacancy, residential wouldn't really be appropriate in this building. City Planning, as well as the city planner Marka Fields, support this project and the variances being requested. This is a vast improvement. They're putting in parking. If you look at the overhead or the aerial, you'll notice that currently there is no parking. And then if you go to the actual structures, Drew, can you show the existing conditions? As you can see, this is all being revitalized and repaired. And so City Planning really supports this project, taking a structure that's already commercial, that's been commercial, that could probably only ever be commercial, and making it into a carry-out restaurant. It's a really low use. It's not a huge use. And Lee Road is it's residential, commercial, residential, commercial. And so City Planning supports this project. And the variance
Have
is
we heard
requested.
from Councilman Jones by chance? Mrs. Kukla, maybe?
No, I haven't received any letters or email correspondence from them.
Okay. Any other questions, board? Tim, Miss Faith?
I got none.
Madam Chair, it's since the building was built, it was occupied as a delicatessen. Is that correct?
Yes.
Liz?
Yes, it was originally built as a delicatessen.
Okay. And Madam Chair, given the statement from City Planning, it was from inception a commercial building in a residential area, and it's essentially just going back to its roots. So I would move that we go ahead and approve this variance so that it becomes a vital structure within the neighborhood again.
Second.
Okay. Call the roll.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Ms. Faith?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Calendar 20-147 is granted. It'll be ratified next week, and we'll send you a letter.
The only thing I would like is a letter from the owner. So if the architect could get that letter so that he had the right to represent her.
Yes, I did forward that letter to the board.
Oh, okay.
Notarized.
Yes, we have.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Thank you very much. Okay. Is that the end of my list?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
That's it.
Old business?
The old business, we had 3 board members that voted on on some of the resolutions. I don't know if those are included in this week's review. But my question is, we had 3 people, so we had the minimum for quorum, which we did. When we ratified, only the 3 people that heard the case can vote to ratify, right?
Oh, that would be a question for Lori. Are you still on the phone?
Yeah, I am. I mean, that would be correct. If one of the 3 people here today voted against it, then you would not have the majority needed to vote to ratify, and it should wait till next week.
Right. So my question gets to be, only the people that voted on the case can vote to ratify the case.
Correct.
And you still need a full majority. In other words, you need a minimum of 3 people for that vote, or is it the quorum of the 3? So you only need 2 people.
That's a good question. I don't know. I'd have to look at that. Is this an actual question, or do we have a situation?
Yes, we do.
We only have 2 to 3 people there today. I don't know if we're looking at those, but.
Yeah, it was Ms. Barnes last week. It was just Ms. Barnes, Mr. Johnson, and Mr. Donovan.
Oh, I see.
So I guess we could postpone any action and give Lori time to figure out what the answer to that question
That would probably be preferable.
Yeah. I mean, if
we can do that.
Marlene was here, it wouldn't be an issue, but she's not here.
Right.
Yeah, we'll just hold ratification until next week.
Okay.
All right.
We still got 2 though, right, or no? Old business.
No,
Those are from last week?
There's
Okay.
there's nothing
Let's
else.
have
So
5.
those are the ones that,
They had 5 people there, which wasn't the case.
no, that's an error. Those are the 2 that we saw last week, and we only had 3 members there.
Right.
So those are the ones we'll hold ratification on for next week.
Okay.
It needs to be clarified, and you better recheck all of these, Mrs. Kukla.
Got it.
Ms. Kelly, I don't think was here for some of these others. Okay.
All right.
See you all next week. Have a great week. Stay well.
Okie dokie, you too.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Good to see you.
Thank you. You as well.
Good job, Dro. Thank you.
Good job, Dro.
Thank you.
And just so you know, I was giving the information Maurice was giving me about West 67th. So